The damning photos of American soldiers, men and women of the military police, seemingly enjoying their creatively sadistic abuse and torture of Iraqi prisoners, mark a low point in our history as a nation, as well as an enduring shame for the military command and the Bush administration. Where were the safeguards against such cruelty that we expect from following the guidelines of the Geneva Conventions? How could it happen, particularly as enacted by supposed protectorates of the leader of the free world? Who was responsible for such outrageous behavior? Was it an isolated incident? Imagine our outrage at the reverse scenario, if Americans were depicted at the bottom of a pyramid of naked prisoners. Such vital moral, psychological, and political issues are why we all must care about the reasons for the digitally documented depravity that erupted in that strange prison in 2003. While it is convenient to discharge our moral outrage by blaming it all on the random, impulsive actions of a few rogue soldiers, a few bad apples, as the military rushed to assert, it is not sufficient to merely acknowledge the Abu Ghraib abuses as yet another thing that somehow went wrong, as we do with media-exposed scandals in the nation's police stations or of politicians. In this insightful book, Colonel James shows us how he came to terms with the complex questions of how American soldiers could commit such vile acts, and he shows us that there is not one simple answer. We all need to go on this quest for the deeper understanding of the whys and hows of such inhumane human behavior. If these were merely a few bad apples, then the solution would be simple. Identify, prosecute, court-martial, and imprison the culprits. Voila! Problem is solved. However, suppose that these Army Reserve MPs were good apples when they were assigned to play their role as prison guards. Then something bad happened to them at that time, in that place, causing major character transformations. But what could make people who set out with noble intentions commit such depraved actions? What could make good people turn so evil so quickly? We want answers, not only to satisfy our intellectual curiosity, but also to find out how to change such bad barrels so they do not continue to corrupt good people. Punishing the evildoers, when the situational and system forces are responsible for creating and maintaining those bad barrels, is like the Inquisition's witch hunts as a cure for evil during the Middle Ages. Instead, we need to seek a public health model to discover the vectors of disease that induced suffering and moral affliction, so that it can be prevented in the future. Colonel James' work provides a major step forward in this effort. But why should we follow the path that our guide, Colonel James, has laid out for us? Why should we follow along on his quest to understand how such outrageous behavior could erupt in a military compound? Because he is in a unique position to guide us. Larry James is a colonel in the Army, with a long and distinguished career as an officer, but more importantly to me, as an innovative researcher and dedicated practicing psychologist. He not only understands individual mental problems that can be treated with psychotherapy and medication, but also social situational problems that call for different kinds of intervention in modifying behavioral contexts. I have known Colonel James for many years as a colleague, meeting regularly at our profession's conventions, reading his research, and corresponding with him about various issues. And I know that as one of the Army's most seasoned psychologists and behavioral scientists, Colonel James has a particular appreciation of how external forces acting on individuals within groups can shape their behavior. Colonel James was the man we sent to fix hell, and we can learn from his experience. Philip Zimbardo, author of The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil, and creator of the Stanford Prison Experiment.
Fixing Hell. Treat a man the way you want to be treated. Reverend Johnson. Chapter 1. Entering Hell. June 2004. Abu Ghraib Prison in Iraq. For weeks, I'd been unable to think about hardly anything but Abu Ghraib, a prison in Iraq that was rapidly becoming known for abuse and torture, with tales of American soldiers running amok. Since the moment my command told me I would be sent to this faraway prison to make things right, to bring some sanity